When people say divide Nigeria, you are seen to be an enemy of Nigeria, calling for division. But guess what? The government itself has already taken the Igbos out of the map. Do you know that a history book has been approved for Nigerian schools? But guess what? All other tribes, especially the main tribes, were all captured, represented. But the Igbo tribe was removed. I mean, totally removed, not mentioned in that book. If we are to think of history in Nigeria, we should be thinking of Igbo, especially because of the Biafran War. But guess what? They purposely removed the Igbos from the book they wrote. Can you imagine that a child in the southeast will be learning history and they're reading, coming across other books, other tribes, but not the Igbo tribe? And then one man came on the social media saying his son came home asking him that in their history book there is nothing written about the Igbos. And the man said he was shocked to his bone. Now I'm going to allow you to take a look at the video. It has generated a whole lot of reactions from Nigerians as to why the Tinubu's government can approve a book. This is the history they've long denied Nigerians from. You know, history shouldn't be taught in school. History shouldn't be taught in school. Finally, history is being taught in school. But guess what? The Igbos are not included. So guys, that is a big shocker. Now, this person here reacted saying, just in, the federal government of Nigeria approves a history book, a history textbook for schools, but Igbo history is excluded. Thoughts, as in, what's your thoughts? So guys, this is the problem we have in this country. The marginalization is so glaring, and if people begin to ask for secession, you call them terrorists. Nnamdi Kanu has been sentenced to life imprisonment because of statements he made in a video during a broadcast. But terrorists are called to the table to be negotiated with and be given taxpayers' money. When you look at the whole things, Nigerians, these things don't balance. Let's be sincere for once. I mean, it doesn't balance. Anyway, a northerner has come out to call for Nigeria's division, that there's no way this unity is going to work. I want you to let me take you through some of the reactions coming from Nigerians. Like this person say, grateful, history is back in schools after years away, but excluding Igbo contributions sends the wrong message. Include Ezenri, Aro Confederacy, etc. A balanced Nigeria needs a balanced history. This is coming from Olumide, and I think that this reaction says it all. And this was the first they removed history from the curriculum for years. Now it is back. They've exited the Igbos out of it. This isn't just an omission. It's a soft coup against the memory of a people. You cannot build a nation on a grave of a suppressed heritage. If the Igbos are only good for taxes and want Nigeria slogan, but not for the history books, then the message is clear. The union is a facet. And this other person here said, the Nigerian civil war did not end till today. The idea of no victor, no vanquish is a bullshit. Nigeria is still at war with the Igbos. Perhaps a cold war which will never end until this country is divided. And this other person here say, NTA News has various documentary on the diverse cultures of different ethnic groups in Nigeria, but conspicuously has none on the southeastern Nigeria. Obviously, this is a systemic issue, and the symptom is too obvious to be ignored. Nigeria has a deep-rooted Igbo problem. And this other person said, then it doesn't have to be taught in schools across Igbo nation. I keep thinking when the Igbo elites that still believe united Nigeria is achievable, from Emeka the screwdriver seller to Amadi the coup propagandist, and now this, it tells you that the sunrise is rising. The sun is rising again now and ever. And this other person here said, hope they included this in the history book, showing the picture of these terrorists. And then this person says, Southeast should write their own history themselves. No one will write our history for us. This only shows that the Igbos are not part of Nigeria, and it's just a matter of time before it becomes a reality. The civil war is still on, referendum now. And this person said, Ndigbo abui ndi Nigeria. Can you Eziokwu abu ihe gazo Ndigbo. This person said that Igbos do not belong, you know, to Nigeria. That let's be realistic. So guys, with this thing happening, it is really being clear that the Igbos are being pushed to the wall. And this person here say it is clear evidence of what we all know about Nigeria hits the Igbos. How do you write a history book of Nigeria without the mention of the Igbo tribe? How? And so guys, these are reactions coming from Nigerians. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you.
You know, Igbos are the most worthless tribe in Nigeria. Yeah, you heard it. Igbos are the most worthless tribe in Nigeria. Get angry all you like, but they are just all mouth and no depth, just mouth. Because if they are not, why should this be happening in Nigeria right now? Why should this be happening? You know how they told us that they removed history from the Nigerian curriculum because they didn't want sentiments because of the war, the civil war. But history just got reintroduced to the Nigerian educational system. And guess what? Guess what they put inside here? See, before now, my son came and asked me, I said, Dad, I thought Igbos were the third biggest tribe in Nigeria. I said, yes. He said, how come there is no Igbo in their history book? I was shocked. I took their book and I looked at it. All the history of all the major tribes in Nigeria. We have the Hausa State, Kanuri Empire, Nupe, Igala, Yorubas, Bini Kingdom, Efik, Niger Delta, and Shekiri. No Igbo. For a tribe that has almost 5 to 6 states in Nigeria, no Igbo whatsoever. The painful part of it is that, you see this Efik here? No, I bet, Efik people want to know vessel. But see this Efik here? Then put them on purpose. It was put here on purpose to let the Igbos know that we know what we are doing and we are worthless. I don't want to talk about the people that wrote the book, but this is the junior secondary school revised. This is the junior secondary school revised standard edition. JS1. The funny part is that our biggest flex as Igbos is just 2 things. To build houses and paint them white so we can show them every December on Twitter, on social media. And of course, name our children Jewish names. That's the only thing that we know how to do best right now. Because if this is happening, like, we have been erased from our history. Rubbish.
Yeah, President Donald Trump and his team are considering to divide Nigeria. And northern leaders have come out to say they will never accept the division of Nigeria. Why is it that northerners don't want Nigeria to divide? Why? Why is it that the north does not want Nigeria to divide? Why is it only them that are interested in one Nigeria? Why? But yet, behave yourself. Let's live in harmony. No, you carry religion on your head. You people don't want Nigeria to divide, but you carry religion on your head. Your religion is more important than the development of this country. If your religion is too important, then divide the country and go and practice your religion in peace. No. You don't want the country to divide. Behave yourself. Let's live in peace. You don't want to behave yourself. We don't want Nigeria to divide. If only you people behave yourself and let's live in peace. Leave religion alone. Religion is a relationship between man and God. Why are you people bringing religion to be a national issue, a state issue? You put Sharia laws on the secular state. Nigeria is a secular state. You put Sharia law, whereby somebody cannot buy alcohol in his own country because he's not from the north. If he's living in the north, he cannot buy alcohol. What type of a country is that? That means the country is divided based on some people have their own constitution and others have their own constitution. Then divide the country, let everybody go their way. You people are breeding insecurity, breeding Islamic terrorism, giving excuses to terrorists on why they must terrorize this country. Emotionally, politically defending these Islamic terrorists and jihadists. And at the same time, people don't want Nigeria to divide. All we want is development. We don't need religion. Leave religion alone. Religion is a relationship between man and God. Why is religion a national issue or a state issue? Nobody stop you from practicing your religion. But let your religion and you and be together now. What's the problem with this? Divide Nigeria, no. Behave yourself.
So, the Nigeria government have approved a history textbook that excludes the Igbo nation. They approved a history textbook that excludes the Igbo nation. The second largest tribe in Nigeria. Like the second, the first largest tribe in Nigeria. Because we are the largest tribe. We are everywhere in the world. Everywhere in Nigeria. They excluded us from the history book. You people have seen it. They are trying to erase us from the history. So that in the next generation, people will see us as minorities. Meanwhile, we are the largest ethnic group. Since they have erased us from the history book, when are we getting our referendum? When? It means that we are not part of them. It means that we are not one of them. So when are we getting our referendum? Olugo Ndigbo niile ya biako onu advocate for bodo nke anyị. Because it's very clear that these people are tohanye. And also why the whole. This is very, very wrong. Very wrong in every aspect. Just imagine nwa gị na-agụ history book or ya fu ndị Igbo ne or make sense. Does it make sense at all? This is unacceptable and we refuse it and we reject it. Even if this history book is only taught in other regions, it's still wrong. It's still very wrong. Ekucham.
Are you aware that a lot of people have died in the struggle to get Nigeria better? They lived all their life, died, and Nigeria never got better. Now watch this. In 1986, Professor Chinua Achebe wrote a very powerful book he titled The Trouble with Nigeria. According to Achebe, he said that the major problem with Nigeria is not problem of resources, but problem of leadership, problem of corruption, problem of tribalism. That book was written before I was born. 42 years later, after the book was published, the problem with Nigeria is still bad leadership, corruption, tribalism. The question is, what does it really cost to have a leader? What does it really take to have a leader who is nationalistic? Someone who has the burden of transforming the country. So since 1960 that Nigerian got her independence till today, that's about 65 years. We have not been able to get it right. Do you know the great legend Fela Kuti? He was born in 1938 till he died in 1997. 59 years later, Nigeria never got better. There is another legend called Kensaro Wewa. He led a campaign in Niger Delta against environmental destruction caused by oil in Niger Delta area. Do you know that he was executed in 1995? Until today, if you go to South, the environment is still being messed up. There is still high level of environmental destruction. Nothing has changed. The same thing happened to Gani Fayemi. Many people have died. Should we talk about Delegewa? It's only people like Wole Soyinka that is still alive today. And the funny thing is that most of these people died mysteriously. Some of them were executed by the military government. But guess what? Till today, Nigeria is not yet good. But I have a good news for you. There is a generation that is rising. And whether you believe it or not, one of the advantages we have is the social media today. I believe that in our lifetime, even if we did not end up changing Nigeria 100%, we will make a mark. We will learn to hold people accountable. And we will start by preaching and sensitizing people on how these people have kept us in perpetual poverty. The change must start with us. Because you cannot tell me that since 1983 that Achebe wrote that book till today, different set of people have taken different leadership positions at different levels in Nigeria, which means as a country, we have focused on building strong men instead of building strong system. Rufai Oseli will always said, culture will eat strategy for a breakfast, which goes to tell you that in the culture of the people, they have imbibed corruption, they have imbibed bad leadership. So what we are going to do is to continue to open the eyes of people on the chains that is holding Nigeria. And trust me, collectively we will get that chain broken. We cannot continue to live like animals in our own father's land. Until corruption and bad governance is conquered, Nigeria will remain in chain. Follow me. This is just the beginning of the journey.
This was the very same pattern that the 1966 coup was tagged an Igbo coup, whereas the Yaribas and the Hausa Fulani soldiers all participated in the coup. In October last year, reports quietly emerged that some soldiers from northern Nigeria had planned a coup but failed. According to the information available at the time, those involved were arrested and taken into custody. However, one thing stood out clearly. None of the people linked to the alleged coup plot were Igbo. Because of that, the story did not receive much attention. It did not trend. It did not dominate headlines. The so-called national media barely pushed it. The matter was treated as something minor and quickly buried. Fast forward to yesterday, Stanley Amadi, a well-known Igbo Nollywood actor, was suddenly named as a so-called propagandist linked to that same coup plot. Almost immediately, the story exploded everywhere. Social media went wild. Television station picked it up. Newspaper rushed to publish it. The Lagos Ibadan media space amplified it non-stop. Those who were openly hostile to the Igbo people were excited. Some were even celebrating. At last, they felt they had achieved what they had been searching for, which is a way to force an Igbo identity into the coup narrative. For months, there had been no real noise about the alleged coup. But the moment an Igbo name was introduced, the story suddenly became urgent, sensational, and worthy of national outreach. That alone raises serious questions. One must ask plainly, where in the world do professional military officers involve ordinary civilians, let alone actors, in planning a military coup? Coups are internal military affairs. They are planned, executed, and investigated within the armed forces. Dragging a civilian into such a matter looks more like a media strategy than a genuine security process. This was the very same pattern that the 1966 coup was tagged an Igbo coup, whereas the Yaribas and the Hausa Fulani soldiers all participated in the coup. Time and again, the Nigerian system finds ways to link Igbo names to national problems, even when the original facts do not support it. It is as if no major issue is complete until an Igbo face is attached to it. This is the injustice Ndigbo have lived with for decades in this contraption called Nigeria. The truth is painful but clear. The Nigerian entity, as it currently operates, has become a powerful weapon designed to constantly weaken, accuse, and isolate the Igbo people. When others are involved, the system stays quiet. When an Igbo name appears, the noise begins. This is not justice. This is not fairness. This is not unity. Still, despite the bias, Ndigbo have learned resilience. We have survived worse. We will continue to stand firm, speak out, and raise our voices against false narrative and targeted oppression. We will not allow lies and propaganda to define us. No matter how powerful the system appears, truth has a way of standing tall in the end, and we will continue to raise a standard. Exactly. Don't forget to register for our Igbo class. If you don't know how to speak Igbo or your kids don't know how to speak Igbo, rush now and register. And our content creation class is still on. Don't forget to DM me. I'm just a DM away. Bye. My darlings, let's watch this video. Obasi unu agagbuola onwe unu na-asị sị adịghị mgbe ndị Abịa steeti kara ihe ndị otu a ịmara ihe ndị ụmụ nwaanyị ndị kere anya agbo akpịrị ogologo akpịrị wa asụsịala otu na kawega nara rice nara nwa nchọnchọ ihe ọdịkwa ime unu agha ndịda ịgba mgbo ọnụ ụmụ nwaanyị ndị kere anya agata wazụwa agara anara Benjamin ya wụrụ na mama gị nọ nwa kpọọkwa nne dọọ ya ọdụ amaghị m ihe nne ndị gata azụda achịcha ọ dịkwala eme ha ọ dị ime ya kwụsịkwa ọba enwekwaghị mgbe ndị Abịa steeti m fụtara asị na ọ bụ Benjamin mbụ dị apapa amakwa m hụ ụnụ dị ka nna gị na ọbụrụ gịrị iwe heu echiri m ọmụmụrụ ụnụ na-abụ na nwa na anyị da ka ụdị anyị ga-isi meme ihe na ka ihe ngala anya ya ụnụ agata azụgbo ode aga anara Benjamin akpara isi da unu agụrụ ya tụm uri ihe ka ara agbaala m. Are you guys not ashamed of yourselves? How can grown women old enough to be elder sisters or probably mothers to Honorable Benjamin be calling him their papa? This is one of the dangers of political rallies. And among the other day, people should stop going to their political rallies. Man longa lile ka chahini la amkara so chokoko lile okoko English lile am suru na agata kwa azo da gro Benjamin na our papa mbidis con men embarrassing themselves just to receive peanuts from politicians. Okwa ihe o okwa amamoto ndị nna anyị na-aji aranjida achicha bụ unu lisi. Now for context, these women are from Osisioma Ngwa in Abia State. And in the last 20 years or thereabouts, the single road that connects to their local government secretariat has been in terrible condition. Give me my voter's card here around Chabaram. That this woman will be Futa da aguru Benjamin la our papa be this. Una hunne no. Unu riegba okwanu munu one kwanu munu. You even should call your mothers and give them. Yeah, already want your sister, but okwa mango do the mad. If you live in Aba, you'll be familiar with the Osisioma Junction, where the flyover is. If you are coming from Umuahia or Owerri, as the case may be, once you reach that Osisioma Junction on when, just at the flyover, you will take a sharp bend to the right. That road is the most important road to Osisioma Ngwa people. It connects the local government secretariat, the NNPC depot, and the largest food market in Osisioma known as Ekapara. That road also connects to several industries within the Osisioma industrial cluster. Unfortunately, that road has been in shambles for decades. These women know how bad they have been treated over the years by opposition parties in Abia. They dip their legs in mud, na poto, in kepu to their local government headquarters, to go to a Kabara market to access their villages. But look at them, shamelessly singing deceptively, because anyhow, they will collect matching grand money and sacco bag of rice. Just know that when you all do this, you are mortgaging the future of your children, both born and unborn. We have a working governor who is working seamlessly in all the local governments in Abia State simultaneously. No governor has ever done 1/100 of what Governor Alex Oti has done and is doing. Work is ongoing speedily along that road at the moment. Governor Alex Oti has stepped in, and very soon, ndị Aba na ndị Osisioma ga-echesakwa ọchị ha na-achị ha ga-edachi ọnụ ga-ejupụta wele ọchị. Please, we do not need unnecessary distractions in our lives at the moment. Ndị Abia want Oti and Oti alone. For those collecting morsels of bread and singing pretentious praise songs, Abia is on the move, and no gate of Ndo Sochebu can stop it. Mecha nangalim da oli kelu da na ihe ahụ ndena. Na chaka wasadru n'ebe ahụ gbasadi anyị. Zuzucha na ga-ezu ike. Oti for Abia come 2027. No hem karabo. Good. Don't forget to register for our Igbo class. If you don't know how to speak Igbo or your kids don't know how to speak Igbo, rush now and register. And our content creation class is still on. Don't forget to DM me. I'm just a DM away. Bye.
Let me tell you this one again, and you should take it to the bank. There's nothing like one Nigeria. One Nigeria is nothing at the moment but a scam. One Nigeria only exists on paper, but in reality, it doesn't exist. Do you want to know why I say that? Basically and simply stated, the fact is, at the moment, different ideologies are actually aspiring for dominance. You have the Islamic ideology, you have the Biafran ideology, and you have the Odudua ideology. All these things. The fact is, the people I see missing in the picture are even the Niger Deltas, though they are actually comfortable or convinced with their 13% derivative. But in reality, one Nigeria only exists on paper, and that is just it. We can't be lying to ourselves for a very long time. And why does it only exist on paper? It exists on paper based on the fact that there's a wonderful write-up that says Nigeria remains an undivided entity and is all-encompassing. It accommodates all different factions, religious institute or whatever. But the fact is, different segments, different regions, as it applies according to the majority, dominates actually what should be and what should not be. When you come to the north, what do you see majorly? You see the preponderance of Sharia. Preponderance of Sharia that neglects or negates the diversity of the north, right? When you go to the east as well, you find the Igbos, and the fact is, according to how they feel, they have been marginalized and they have been cheated under the disguise of one Nigeria. They are actually trying to have their own too, and they are protecting their territory. I think in this part, I think the only safest place so far that are actually even safe in all this madness is even the Yoruba land, because the Yoruba land now is all encompassing. Muslim, Christian, Babala worshipper, all are all accommodated. Do you get it? So they are forging towards a better Yoruba nation. And that is why you get to see that at a point in time, we can give it to the Yorubas that they are all on the same page. Both the masses and both even the political figures. The fact is, they do things that reflect the generality of the Yoruba land. Though gradually there's an encroachment of radical Islamism that is about to befall them as well. But the fact is, they are more formidable at the moment. Why do I say they are more formidable? Just like I said, politically wise, masses wise, they are all united. But when you come to the Igbo land, what do you find? You get to see that there's a disparity between what the common man, what the common Igbo man wants, and what the politicians want. And that is why you see the likes of the Soludo and even them Oju Uzokalu challenging their ideology, saying Alex Oti is just painting roads or whatever, and Soludo closing down markets and nothing is being done. And the last time I checked, all these people are advocating for the fact that we need to remain on our own. So the fact is, if you can't challenge even these people that negates your own ideology of the fact that we feel cheated, while you feel cheated, they don't feel cheated. They feel that this Nigeria is all actually okay for them and is something to be reckoned with, the one Nigeria, right? So the fact is, when it comes to, I think that actually makes you even lose the concept of even coming to a national table to say that we feel cheated or marginalized. Because when the populace, when the masses are actually saying this is what we want, the politicians are saying another language, right? In the North, it's a different ball game entirely. What is eating the North basically is just religious ideologies, factional religious ideologies. Different ideologies everywhere in the nation. And funny enough, the government is not doing anything against this. And if I must tell you my own opinion, what I feel in regards to the present situation is the fact that we have a president that is supposed to reflect one Nigeria, right? But the fact is, the president is more interested in actually coming. That is my opinion. More interested in coming for the second tenure. Only God knows what he's pursuing. And in my own concept now, in my own take, all he's just basically pursuing is even just strengthening more of the Oduduwa Republic. Let me say it here. That is my opinion. And that is what I feel. But the fact is, his people are rallying around him again because they feel they have been cheated majorly by the North. At the end of the day, now this leaves you with the dilemma of the North. What is actually the fate of the North? The fate of the North is the fact that the North used to be wonderful people, but over time now, you have had radical Islamic sects, radical individuals that have actually taken out the peace of this region. And now we are like the poverty capital of the nation. Do you get it? So the fact is, anybody that keeps telling you that we are one Nigeria, and according to the law, when you now come out to say there is no one Nigeria exists on paper, it looks as if you are trying to achieve division. But let me ask you this question now. If I'm actually all about achieving division or separation, what do I stand to benefit from all these things? Nothing. I'm not a politician. I don't intend to contest for politics or whatever. But all I'm just advocating now, all I'm just trying to see is a situation where individuals are respected just like developed nations. Irrespective of your tribe, your religious affiliations, you're all welcome. But it will be very foolish and stupid of anybody to come and tell you that we are under one Nigeria and we should just blame it on bad governance. Or just like I keep telling you at any point in time, bad governance is informed as a result of these ideological divisions that exist in the nation. So the fact is, I think the general point of conclusion here is we are actually in a battle, a war of either dominance or living together as a nation. So the fact is, dominance, only God knows who go dominate. But having a better nation now is equally in the hands of God and in the hands of the politicians. How do you want the nation to be? And in regards wanting the nation to be, you don't need to do any magic. All you just need to do is just do one thing, which is enforcement of the rule of law and due process, irrespective of region, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of party. And that addresses the whole issue. But as long as this remains, as long as this stupidity remains of this old, let me not just insult people here. We are just going to remain nothing but a divided nation. And I want to state it clear to you again that you shouldn't blame anybody for desiring and aspiring to go his own way because of the reality they see on ground. And that is just it.
It is really so sad and very, very pathetic to see that the federal government can go this far. I mean, this far in terms of having such an important book. People have been lamenting about removing history. It's all about, you know, this Igbo, let me say the Biafran War. This is why people have been asking for history to be taught in Nigerian schools. They purposely remove history. People don't know anything about what happened in the past and they can't relate. They can't relate with the past, you know, considering the future. And now the government has finally approved Igbo books to be, history books to be taught in school. But guess what? Igbos are being excluded. So guys, tell me who made this kind of error. Tell me, how can this be even seen as a mistake? This cannot be called a mistake for any reason. This is something that was intentionally done. And these are how they provoke people. When Nnamdi Kanu start asking for Biafra, they call him terrorist because he wants Nigeria to divide. How do you call a man terrorist? Because he's asking for secession as a result of marginalization. This marginalization, it is not only the Igbos that are saying, even people who are not Igbos have come out to say the Igbo tribe is being marginalized. The Igbo tribe is being marginalized. You don't want us to be... There is no Igbo business now that will come up that they will not look for something to crash it. And look at Innocent that is building cars in Nigeria. How many governments in Nigeria can boldly go to him and say, we want to buy vehicles from you? They can't. They cannot buy from Innocent. They will rather go to Toyota and buy all the SUVs, costing Nigeria a lot. And tomorrow they are looking for manipulated figures of the GDP to post and tell the world that Nigeria is doing well. So guys, these are some of the things that we are talking about the Tinubu's government. When Buhari did his own, people will say, okay, Buhari is not well educated and Buhari is like an Islamist, you know, he hates the Igbos. He might not really want Christianity. If not that he was president, he would just he's one of those people. He's a Fulani man. He's part of this Mieti Allah. These are people that believe in other people are infidels. So if Buhari acted the way he acted, he can even be easily pardoned considering that he is an Islamist. So for somebody who is saying he is educated, he is a democratic person, and then he's behaving the way the Tinubu's government is behaving, is something that Nigerians cannot condone. Anyway, I don't know what you make of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.